Speedrun. Ready. So people say stupid stuff like 3 minutes in, you're simply reading AI, or they steal numbers dummy. The majority of welfare is being taken by legal and illegal non-Americans, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to link down below the longer responses, but in short, we can look at here. This is for 2023, going over participation and benefits by demographic. And we can see in regards to citizenship, US born citizens out of 40 million people in 2023, 35, almost 36 million were US born citizens. Okay. Now, under that, right, we have naturalized citizens. So those are the legal immigrants, the actual full out legal, no matter what the hell you want to argue. 2 million, 2.5 million, okay, out of the 40 million. And then we have the refugees. So the ones that people like to argue if they're illegal or legal, even though they're going through a legal process of refugee and asylum. 434,000. 434,000. Other non-citizens, so these are ones with certain protected statuses, but they are eligible. And in order to be eligible, we have another article here that is difficult to find if you do a Google search now, because for whatever reason things change. Goes over eligibility requirements that have always existed, at least up until this year when they change. And it says, asylees and holders of derivative visas, immigrants whose deportations is withheld. Now, more interestingly enough, I mean, you can look at all these are all people considered through asylum processes or certain Native Americans born abroad because of their ethnicity and, well, blood heritage, per se, because they were here before even Americans were. Now, eligible but subject to 5-year bar, so they're not able to even get anything in lawful permanent residence. Okay, at least until 5 years. They have to wait 5-year period. So this was partially illegal. Maybe some people that came over, but actually not even, because ineligible immigrants, unauthorized immigrants, unauthorized synonymous with illegal, right? Illegal, and then even more so, people with pending asylum claims. So even if they come in and they're waiting to be heard in court for their asylum or refugee status, they are ineligible for SNAP. They don't get SNAP during the meantime. They don't get any of that. They have to go work. They have to go contribute to society and be a part of America. Wow. It's almost like not even just illegal immigrants, but people that are within the process in regards to asylum and refugee claims, which, I mean, seems quite reasonable, because if you stay in a certain country and your existence is threatened because of the government, because of crime, because of natural disasters, or because of war like Ukraine, you go somewhere else, you move. Sometimes it's the only other option you have. You can't just hide within the country, especially nowadays with the surveillance state and the ability for drones to just figure out where anything is. It's insane. Or if you have a cell phone and able to get tracked, your location is able to get tracked. And if you're within a country and say under wartime like Ukraine, it makes a big difference. It makes a huge difference for survival. And for a family with children, pregnant mothers, or people that are disabled or elderly that need to be somewhere safe, that want to live, they seek asylum. We typically used to offer that. We, reasonably so. And even if they're going through the process, unless, they finish the process, they're not getting SNAP. And you can Google this. You can Google how many immigrants are on SNAP, and it derives from data from the USDA that was released this year. So I'll show you the year that it was released. April 2025. I'll zoom in. There it is. This report was released April 2025 and was reflecting on fiscal year 2023. So the whole claim that Biden was open door policy, yada yada. And when you look at the numbers, it falls flat. It falls absolutely flat, because this is the same report that we're looking at for 2023. And there's no illegals. There's nothing. In fact, most of the people that receive benefits are white, not Hispanic. Second most, African American, not Hispanic. That makes up over half already. So majority of immigrants, wrong. And then in regards to illegal immigrants, you can go look at the video how the Google search, but we'll do here. How many illegals are on SNAP? No one in the US without legal status receives SNAP. Ugh! Oh, it's biased. We just looked at the Migration Policy Institute that covers the United States laws in regards to this. 2023. since 2023. We go over another report from the government itself, released this year about 2023, and we go over the numbers ourselves. And before I even brought this report up and even found it, it took a little while today to find it, but this is where Google's getting its information. This information, this is exactly where 1.1%. We do a little bit of math, you can figure out that 1.1% of refugees, right? Let me see. Where'd the number do. So 1.1%. This is compared to this year. 2023 was 40 million people. This year is 42 million. So I'm going to take the same number. I'm just going to take the same percentage. It maps out to 462,000. It's only 32,000 off from 2023, 2 years ago. All right. It's boom, boom. So that checks out. That checks out. What Google is saying, 1.1%, it checks out. Absolutely. And it's off that report. There's no bias. This is from the horse's mouth. Straight from the horse's mouth. It's released this year during Trump administration. It proves you wrong right then and there. So all the people that want to listen to dumbass Orange say the dumbest fucking shit ever, confuse the shit out of you, and then Senator John Thune saying that mostly young adults that are able-bodied and able to work are taking advantage of SNAP, which we have other videos linked down below. Go check them out. But overall, y'all are fucking stupid. So ignorant, so stupid. Take some time to look shit up. Take some time to parse through information. Literally, Google links you the articles. And one other quick thing, in regards to bias, one thing I noticed when I looked at these on my phone, same question, right, as that one that we just looked at. And as you see, it's only linking me Al Jazeera when I click on the link. When I looked it up earlier on my phone, I actually was able to get the migration policy. As you can see, the logo right there, the logo right there. Boom, it's right there. It's referencing that as well. And it goes a little bit more in depth. And that was a search I did yesterday. So between yesterday and today, Google changed some shit. Again, actually, it's more biased toward this administration, in favor of this administration, when it's leaving out specific parts of the information. It's trying to correct, I suppose, for bias to be in your favor, for the ignorant, for the stupid, for the ones that believe every single word that comes out of this administration's mouth. That's it. And then we have also articles covering it, which it derives from, in Google. Maybe next time I'll do Bing, maybe next time I'll do Yahoo, but I'm very certain that I'm going to get the same results. And lastly, US-born citizens, it's, by the government's mouth, the same report. Vast majority of recipients, since 2023 and until now, 89.4% of US-born citizens. And one other little fun fact, when we looked at the numbers from the Pew Research Center in one of the previous videos, we looked at Trump's last year of his first term. In that last year alone, there was an increase of SNAP recipients, regardless of whether they're legal immigrants or US citizens, from 39.9 million people, from 35.7 million people to 39.9. So a jump that big only within Trump's last year, before Biden was ever even elected. Okay? And this is by fiscal year. So definitely before Biden was elected. 4.2 million people within a year added the SNAP. That's part of the inflation of the budget for SNAP. The rest of the inflation for the budget for SNAP is from food inflation itself, which is 30%. You can look it up yourself. You can go check out the previous videos, but I also have right here. Average individual monthly allowance only changed 31% following food inflation of 30% from 2019 to now. All right. The total budget change, which would, and mind you, this change, this takes out the number of recipients. But in regard to the added recipients, mostly from Trump's term, his last year of his term, we had about a 40% raise in budget, $60 billion to now $100 billion in what was spent on SNAP. 30% of that increase was simply because of addressing inflation, which again, Trump's fault. Mostly Trump's fault, as well as the business sector. We look at that as well in the Math is Hard video. I'll link that down below too. But overall, you have that, and then to account for the additional recipients, again, mostly from Trump's term, his last year of his term, especially compared to Biden's, in regards to recipients, because Biden only had a change of from the 39.9 million to 42 million from the beginning of his term to now. That's 2 million, all right? So to account for that, that's about 10%. 10%. Okay? At least from 2019, so that's smack dab in the middle of Trump's term. All right? Fiscal year 2019, so the end of Trump's term, the last year, 39.9. Fiscal year 2018, 35.7. Right here, within 1 year. I'm not even going to count before COVID. Well, this was probably between COVID, but purely before COVID, it was even less than that. So majority of the increase in terms of recipients was from Trump. That's why the budget went up manyfold, as he posted and bitched about. Likewise, with inflation, but that mostly has to do with the job market and going to shit because of AI and how businesses are operating these days, as well as the economy, because tariffs also have an effect on that too. So very interesting stuff, because obviously the more people that aren't able to work, aren't able to make enough money to eat, to feed, that are below the poverty line, are going to be eligible for SNAP. Biden didn't have that problem. Biden actually tapered down inflation, and most of the inflation during his term came because of the Ukraine war and the whole issue on oil prices, as that affected everything. But from the middle of his term, 2022 February, when that war started, when inflation went up to a rate of 9.9%, to the end of his term, he was able to get it below COVID's inflation. So go check out that video for more info on that as well. But all in all, y'all are wrong. Y'all don't know how to do math. You don't know how to read. You don't know how to do shit. You can't take the time to do anything. You're either too impatient or too ignorant to give a fuck. And you're just too spiteful, too hateful to really take a minute to look at the government data, as well as different articles that all say the same exact fucking thing. And then you just want to say, oh, well, because I'm reading an AI overview in the beginning of my video, that I'm wrong, even though I spent another like 50 something minutes, 57 minutes, explaining everything underneath that. And even more so now. So, probably my last video on this, but overall, for people that want to understand the gravity and the magnitude of this situation in regards to the effect on 42 million people, or I guess 40 million US citizens, well, about 30 something million, 38 million US citizens, I suppose, is the majority, especially now. All right. If you want to understand that, it was about 30, 38, almost 40. Yeah, I'm about it right. And this is from 2023. Adjust that for the extra 2 million since. All right. I don't know. Go learn how to do math. Go learn how to look shit up. Go learn how to click through links. Go learn how to read. Go look at a dictionary. Go learn what words mean, okay? And if you feel offended, let me know down in the comments below. Let me hear your frustrations, and we can work it out. Or I could just call you a dumbass, and then you'll never learn a single thing because you'll be too mad about it. Anyways, until next time, this is Spark.